Hey Jess, good to see you.
Hi, Nav. Good to see you with the video on.
It's been a nice journey. Like we have been talking for last many weeks. I wouldn't say few weeks. And finally we are here for the final episode of the Digital Maturity Blueprint series. How are you
Yeah,
feeling?
time flies. Yeah, it's like surreal, I guess. And I'm
Yeah.
quite proud of it actually.
I learned a
That
lot
what we
from our
accomplished.
conversations. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
learned a
for
lot
sure.
from our conversations, and even these conversations opened few doors in my mind to learn new things
Mm,
and how to be future ready on the digital path. I mean, we are seeing a lot of changes happening here and there across the board, different companies, different markets, different industries, even like economic aspect of the world trade at this point is quite easy. So uh, we want to be ready for that as well because like stock market is quite suspicious right now, and 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 all this volatility is giving anxiety to me, to everybody, and that world trade on top of it, political aspect. Yes, so I mean we are all working digitally, so we want to be ready
mm.
for that. So yeah, and what's your vision on to do after this episode today? What you want to do after this?
I think there's a lot more, like you said, there are a lot more topics that we uncovered along the way that we can deep dive into. I think you recently wrote a piece on it as well, and I recently wrote a similar piece on the evolution of SEO into GEO because of the search. The way we're using search now is different. So I think there's some things to talk about there. And then, of course, the softer aspect of the human evolution will be something that I will be very interested to see how it pans out. And
Hmm.
then what that means
Human
for
aspect.
our
Yeah.
talent, yeah, the talent of the future. And concurrently, I think for the environment that never stops.
Hmm.
I was even I read somewhere that they were harnessing energy from synthetic diamonds to help power up data centers. I think there was a Japanese company that managed to crack that, which supposedly very environmentally friendly or something. So it's yet
There
to
are
be
some
seen.
good things. Yeah, I have been talking to industry experts lately.
Mm,
Very special, like an hour-long conversations in a formal manner, and I'm already getting surprised by hearing like what the world is doing right now, like with data centers optimization, with especially on the sustainability side,
mm,
automation side, and AI. Yeah, and let's talk about all these today. Through this journey on this podcast series, like we touched
mm,
on leadership, we touched on sustainability a lot,
mm,
like how industries are being responsible, and we talked about data, customer centricity, and training,
mm,
employees, customer experience. A lot of things we discussed here. All about like how can be we digitally mature to support the green sustainability and financial impact on the business, operational efficiency to improve, and how to boost on the customer experience side. And all these things are quite crazy all
mm,
over the places. I mean, we have get to a good maturity already. Um,
mm,
Companies are very smart, very intelligent, and technology is supporting it quite efficiently.
mm,
And bunch of I mean, we have some improvement areas, of course, because like we are always keep moving forward. We are always growing, and there are some compromises we are making on the way. There are some low priority problems that we are ignoring while on the way, which becomes
Uh-huh.
bigger later on, right? And
Yeah.
and it hardly we are taking time to go back, look where to improve, what to do, and what to fix, and then we stay optimized. Let's let's think about all these and on those problems that like let's summarize all those for today, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, um, any any aspect that you want to bring in first?
Mm. Um, I guess I mean I'm curious to hear from you how because we've been talking about how digitally mature the
Yeah,
companies are, right? Like we've been analyzing them and kind of giving them flick sometimes over the series of
right.
podcasts. But have you analyzed a bit on yourself? Like, do you think you yourself have been more digitally mature as compared to 2 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, like the main pillar for digital
Mm,
transformation is technology, okay?
mm,
And we all have huge tech stacks, very complex network of
mm,
tools and services that we are leveraging to run our businesses,
mm.
right? And how many leaders do know the real outcome of the tech stack,
Yeah.
the ROI on the services and stack and staff and efforts and money putting on the tech stack to run the business? Of course, tech stacks are productive. Can you quantify it well?
Mm,
Can you clearly say that okay, your technology ecosystem is 100% efficient? Are you using all of those services to their best potential? Are you sure there is no services in the stack that is not doing anything? Are you capable enough to bring in green, yellow, red light signal on the efficiency on
mm,
those services, right?
mm,
Are you handling renewals right? Are you handling those contracts right?
mm,
So those are the areas I think I want to touch first when we discuss about digital maturity. And how part is later, that like okay, how people should be aware of that, how to bring visibility to the leadership and make decisions to make changes and optimize it and then measure it. That comes later. First of
mm,
all, to identify the problem and acknowledge it,
mm,
right? So technology stack is the main pillar, I would say, behind digital transformation.
mm,
So, and again, like, how are you picking the services to add in your tech stack, right?
mm,
How are you prioritizing? Are you prioritizing cost, productivity, sustainability,
mm,
or the convenience? Like
mm,
personal preference of the people picking tools.
mm.
There are factors here. So any idea, any of your perspective that you think like we should consider in the tech stack? That is one of the biggest area I would rather spend more time to talk about digital transformation here.
Mm, mm. Because no, it's a very interesting time because we can't talk about digital maturity and digital transformation without talking about AI. It's sort of just both worlds just converge and collide. And in some cases, I see a lot of similarities in how we are measuring the maturity on the digital side with how now we maybe need to start to measure maturity on the AI side
Hmm.
concurrently, and how that kind of goes hand in hand in some companies, whereas in others it is still very silo because some people are still struggling with the digital part and not to even talk about the AI. Like it's like what AI, right? Or they don't even dare to touch it. So I think um, it depends on really the kind of problems that the company is facing, still facing, and are they really still not considering how solve those problems using technology for more greater efficiency, be it process efficiency, cost efficiency, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and why not? What is still stopping them from considering that to solve their problems? Why are they still trying to do it in the wrong way or the old way? Is it because of the
Yeah.
people? Is it because of the culture or the process, or is it really because of funding? Uh, so I'll be keen to see how that progressed and how we can continue to measure that. Of course, on my personal front, honestly, now that I'm on my own, like I set up my own company, and I'm part of this talent pool, this community where everybody is like semi-entrepreneurial, or they are fractional, so to speak. There I've never been exposed to so many different tools now as compared to 2 years ago. Like 2 years ago when I was in corporate, sure, you get the big boys coming to you and the usual suspects, right? Like the Salesforce, the Adobe, they will be coming to you, trying to upsell their service. What's the latest upgrade that we have? Why you should uh, on board with us. But then now
Mm-hmm.
that I'm on my own as business owner, we get to expose to all the smaller little tools. And because of thanks to AI, we have even more. It's like an explosion of tools in the market right now. It's just tools everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
And it's hard to pick the right tool because they are so close to each other as well at the same time, specific and focused on very specific use cases, business by
Yeah,
business, company by company. And there's so
yeah.
many variety of tools available. And I'm glad you are living that challenge right now. It's easy to point out mistake from the outside.
It's the like the grandmother, the LMs are now the grandmother. They are at the grandparent stage now,
Hmm.
which is very fast. Imagine
Yeah.
just last year they started and they were launched. ChatGPT, Claude, it was Bard back then, and then Google renamed themselves from Bard became Gemini, and they were the original, right? And then from there, we saw so many apps being built of them. So I see them as procreating children, and then the children procreating further to become for grandkids. And there are just so many right now. I think we should look at streamlining already and not producing even more. I know that's what I think. Yeah.
But that's not stopping. Like new
Mm,
companies are evolving, new problems are evolving because like when there is a growth, there are some unknown problems come along as well, right? So
mm,
we never know that we'll ever be like problemless or problem-free world, right? So it's just that we have to be future ready in that case. But talking about digital transformation at this point, on the technology side, one of the other problems I also do see companies are not upgrading their tools as the
mm,
business grows and new strategies are being defined, new goals,
mm,
new
mm.
markets, still using the same tools that were procured like 5 years ago. Technology is changing every 6 months, right? And
Yeah.
I'm only saying 5 years, but you can't imagine like some companies like in the Fortune 1000, and that is not my own idea. Like I actually heard it with data points from somebody directly that one of the Fortune 1000 companies is still using Excel sheet for their CRM purpose.
That's
Okay.
not a surprise.
How are they managing it? I mean, they are
That's not a
efficient.
surprise.
If they are efficient, their efficiency can be like can be opened up multifold if they
Mm,
just use automated tools these days. Like there's a bunch of CRMs. Like even there are free CRMs available if cost is an issue, right?
yeah.
But there are tools available. I mean that has to happen. I mean Excel sheet is a good tool. I love that, but not for CRM. Okay,
Exactly.
so these are the technology related problems. Of course, I mean their focus may be on the sustainability, I agree, but still, like you
Really.
can still contribute in some other way to the sustainability, not just not using the cloud-based service. So uh, yeah, so these are the things. Majority of the leadership execs are not really aware of their productivity on the tech
Mm,
stack,
yeah.
right? Where the money is going, what is not being used, and at the same time, it impacts operational efficiency. Okay,
Mm,
it impacts your money drain. Okay, and that also tells the staff is not prioritizing the business impact of all this. Means their focus is somewhere else. They're not efficient
mm,
enough to optimize the internal set of work culture
mm,
and processes within the company. I mean, it
mm,
also tells cross-team collaboration problem
mm, mm,
because marketing team probably is using a service for optimizing their content.
yeah.
Okay, sales team probably is using another tool or another subscription of the same tool to
Mm,
optimize their content, and same
mm,
for tech documentation team and
yeah.
support. So see, we are already talking four teams and different tools in the tech stack for the same
Mm,
purpose.
mm,
So one problem can open up doors to many further problems, and it could be the domino effect. But again, like that one problem tells us
mm,
there are a lot of broken links,
yeah.
right? So technology is the starting point here, I would say, because if leadership wants to see the outcome and they're more on the result oriented way, and it
Mm,
has to be all connected down below to the tech stack, and it will show
mm,
up a lot of problems. Okay, so on the other side, I love customer experience area. Like that's where I start whatever I do. Like, okay, what I want to achieve to the end goal on whatever I'm doing, like how my users, because I live digital world, right? Day in, day
mhm,
out, like I work on digital properties.
mm,
So how my end users are going to impact uh, with the work I'm doing, how
mm,
this tool will influence them,
mm,
that's where I start thinking from. Okay, then based on achieving that goal, what tools will help me? What
mm,
process will help me? How to
mm,
minimize the number of touch points on the way? How to add a hook on the digital journey? I mean, it's
mm,
not easy, but again, like promo codes, I work more on the B2B side. Some use cases may not be directly applicable from the examples I'm referring to, but again, like adding hooks a little bit
mm,
here and
yeah.
there, showing some surprise content as a gift will help bringing good customer experience. Okay, so showing video at the right time, okay, answering
Mm,
questions with generative AI format, help visitors too, okay, and make sure there is no slowness on your website loading, and there
mm,
is no fatal error showing up ever, no broken link, okay, all these
mm,
things.
mm,
So I mean, again, I start from the customer experience and then see like how to achieve that and all
yeah.
those things in the background that go. And I come up with a digital maturity model in such a way to achieve that level of customer experience. And I focus on technology, how to leverage to achieve the optimized, and there are stages, okay,
Yeah.
and like how to learn from data. That is very important. Data is no more a commodity. It is a very um, high value knowledge base that we can learn from. If we are not understanding what data is telling us,
Mm,
we may be making the wrong decisions. Okay,
mm,
and um, or we just listening to your intuition sometimes
Yeah.
gut feel is good. I rely on that too, but not always, right?
Mm,
So
yeah.
you have to be in the middle ground for the right balance between data driven decisions and your own gut feel.
Mm,
So, and then like training your staff is one of those things that you also have to enable your staff, right? To deliver that level of customer experience, because customer customer funded companies grow fastest, not
mm,
investors, not seed. Customer funded. Okay, again, like training your staff, right? And then uh, technology and then data and then yeah, and measure it right,
mm,
right?
mm,
So whatever you're doing, you want to find out the right metrics for your business.
mm,
Okay, not just like other businesses are measuring these, so we should be also measuring those same metrics. Your staff is different, your business goals are different, your strategies are different, so your metrics have to be different as well. It may be
mm,
like similar to them, but again, your way of calculating value on those metrics may be a little different. Find out your own way based on the outcome that you want to make, or you want to influence your customers and business with.
mm,
So, measurement is one of those top things as well that we have to be very familiar with and clear with. Like
mm,
clarity is another thing that we cannot ignore really. So that's my way of looking at the baseline here.
mm,
So what about you?
mm.
Have you ever
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry,
Go ahead.
have you ever come across with a client that are too rigid on touching their tech stack and expecting different results?
Mm, I think it's actually quite common. Because there was this tech stack used to be safely guarded by the tech team, right? And then after that, when data became a big thing, then you started having the data team, and then they often sit separate from the tech team, and they used to get into fights as well as to who should
Mm,
actually govern the data. Um, and then when digital transformation came in full force, then there was a digital team. So then you have three teams that kind of are at war with each other over who has the final say, who should take ownership. So whoever wants to have the final say don't necessarily want to have the ownership, which is the biggest problem. So then it becomes a case where sometimes uh, they don't have a holistic view of what the other department is safeguarding, and that prohibits them from making an informed decision for the entire company that would eventually impact the customers and the employees. So that's one thing that I've observed. Is a recurring theme in a lot of MNCs, especially in the financial services, because
okay,
of
yeah.
the whole privacy, the data privacy, customer privacy issues. So then it becomes quite gray as to whether what kind of data can be shared, even within departments, even though it's all masked and things like that. They could never really get through this from a compliance perspective. And your example of the Excel sheet, to me, is not surprising. Very often the biggest companies with the most sophisticated client-facing interface is always also the most outdated in their internal processes, which is a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah.
They don't invest. They invest in customers, yes, to because that's where the revenue comes in. But they neglect their employees, and it makes it almost torture for the employees to use those outdated tools to try to serve the customers, which is
Being
yeah, that's
yeah,
that's what I've observed.
yeah. Being big, I think, is a problem as well because
Mm,
it's difficult to implement change in the large organizations. It takes time, right?
mm,
While industry is moving so quickly, and startups are being successful and giving challenges and competition to those large organizations as well. I mean, they're already behind against startups because they're less agile, right? They're already behind on many factors.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a large volume
Yeah.
on revenue. They have so
Yeah.
many customers, so they don't break quickly. But again, at the same time, they're already facing huge competition from startups on their
Yeah.
key revenue stream line of business, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, while they are focusing to compete with those startups, either they eat those startups by acquiring them, or they just keep competing with them to keep improving on their product line. And it is, I think, is a case of prioritization here, because they may be aware. Um, because the example I'm referring to right now in my mind, like, companies are aware of the problems, but they
Mm.
don't want to take time and fix the internal problem first because of the outside influence in the market of those competitors and the future
Mm.
goals. Because
Mm.
technology is changing so fast, by the time
Mm.
they will upgrade their own systems, the systems will already be upgraded in the market and they will be behind again. Of course, they will not be like 10 years behind, but they will be like little behind still, because
Yeah.
things are changing so fast, and large organizations take longer than that time to
Mm.
just upgrade their systems. And that's the
Yeah.
problem I have lived as well. I mean,
I mean, I've lived that too.
yeah, it
Sometimes
takes
it's also
years. Yeah.
they
So,
um they try to build their own, and it's bad, and they force
yeah,
their employees to use
yeah.
whatever they build, which is very bad.
True, but
Which
but
yeah.
but what's the solution here? So yeah, I mean, there's so many large organizations out there living on the outdated systems, and
Mm.
one of those examples we also have referred to, like, it is a federal department, and they have
Mm.
like very old computer systems on their data center. Just to
Mm.
maintain those like less than 10 systems, they're spending like $20 million a year. Okay,
Yeah.
this is like the government of we are talking about, right? And but again, see, coming to the point here, how to keep growing and improving on the internal technology as well, to keep up in the market without impacting the business? That is the big question,
Mm.
and that's what all leaders look for the answer as well. And I think
Mm.
here, people should be aware of the technology value that they
Yeah.
will get after the upgrade and how soon. And
Yeah.
it's totally a mindset of change management. Okay,
Mm.
leaders just cannot enforce the change. They have to live the change, be part of the change management system, work closely and prioritize it right for a little bit. I mean, like, it you can
Mm.
also, I mean, everything is hybrid. Even like when cloud came up, uh, some people liked, some didn't like.
Mm.
And then there is a concept of hybrid cloud came in, which
Mm.
actually made it huge success.
Mm.
Right? Companies are not comfortable to send all of their data to the cloud. At the
Yeah.
same time, they want to be on the cloud.
Yeah.
So there is a balance, right? And that can happen within the organizations as well, between
Yeah.
staff and outcome, to upgrade those systems
Yeah.
to the point that it helps them be more efficient and reduces their cost and still help on the meeting goals. And while focusing on further sales and generating more revenue, and it can very well happen, but it can only happen from the top,
Mm. Mm.
right? In
Yeah.
that C-suite decision making room, that okay, yes, but sometimes they need to have a clear picture and plan, which that middle management should do the good job to
Mm.
make it like decision ready proposal. Okay, if there
Mm.
are like 1 million questions on the table that come back on the proposal, then like
Yeah.
it will delay, of course. So somebody has to lead the change, and then and leadership has to be involved in that change, because when they are involved, the pride, and that goes uh, with the influence to all the staff members. Yeah.
Mm.
What do you face while you're working with your clients? What is the priority of customer experience lately? I'm hearing it a lot about customer experience from, again, like all over the
Mm.
places. CX keyword is quite popular, and if I rate, like, AI is number one, CX is number two keywords on the internet these days. Have you seen that change as well?
Um, yeah, I think it's always been very important because we're in a very commoditized world. Um, good CX could be that differentiator for the company. And of course, when all companies try to jump into the CX wagon, then they have to really, really differentiate in terms of the entire experience. It's just that struggle between tech, CX, and finance in measuring, like, what exactly should they be measuring? How do they measure success when it comes to CX without being outright revenue attributing, which is not possible. It's not always possible that way, as we all know. It's just like marketing, right? You cannot just directly attribute your campaign and say that it generated X revenue unless you're selling something live, you know.
Mm.
Um, but that said, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of exciting developments on the CX front in terms of the agentic AI. Um, they are becoming more, or at least they mimic that emotional response quite well. They are starting to become, I won't say they are entirely conscious, but they appear to be conscious in some of the responses that I've seen being tested using the chatbots. Um, yeah, the AI powered chatbots and conversational commerce chatbots. So you might beg to differ as to whether that really is game changing. But I think as people become more conscious about the importance of CX, that helps to train the responses to be more intuitive and emotionally connected to the end user, which is actually a good thing, I think.
Don't you feel like even human expectations are evolving as well, while technology is going up very fast? AI, generative AI, agentic AI, all these things are like beautiful tools. I enjoy working with them a lot. Um, I feel like we are enjoying all this. We are getting more productive using all these.
Mm,
As a vendor, as a customer, our expectations are evolving as well so fast.
mm,
So, what I believe, and that's my personal opinion, human evolution will stay ahead of the technology at all times. And of course, it's good for generating more data for AI to learn, but AI will not be able to surpass human intelligence ever. Although yesterday I saw a post on LinkedIn, and I'm I'm not very happy with that. Uh, some survey company claimed
mm,
that like AI intelligence will actually surpass human by 2035, I guess.
mm. Like the
So
smartest human in the world.
AI will lead humans.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, again, there is a lot of other remarks as well. I don't want to put that into this conversation right now because I'm not very well updated on this. But how, and in next 10 years, humans will be more smarter too, right? So
I hope so.
yeah. Imagine like after the wheel was invented, how efficiency increased. Humans were
Mm,
humans even before the wheel was invented,
mm,
but efficiency increased after the wheel was invented. And then
mm,
imagine like when internet became popular couple decades ago. I mean, we were still working on those local machines, local data, no cloud and
yeah,
things. We were efficient. We were humans. We were still being very productive, shining on our roles, successful and everything, right? But our efficiencies increased with all these tools, and like we are always demanding more from these tools, right?
yeah.
Same
But we might
way.
be lazier though.
Yeah, imagine like
Definitely.
horses and cars, right? Before cars,
Yeah.
how was their life? And we were still humans, we were still smart, we were still successful and happy, right? And then like cars came in and we demanded more. And now imagine the speed of cars these days, right? The features of cars these days. Yeah, AI is like making us as a driver, we're giving us a lot of free time while driving because of technology, because the
Mm,
ease and cruise and all those features, right? I don't think like AI will at least be responsible for fully automated customer experience and satisfy
mm,
100% of the customers over next, not even 10. I, it's gonna be very like a vague statement, but not even 100 years, I would say.
mm. I guess,
I'm
I
not very
mean,
confident.
ultimately, I mean, AI is collective intelligence. So, I think I told someone before, it's the combined and collective intelligence of everybody who contributed to the data pool and the knowledge base, right? So, potentially, it could be smarter than some people. I'm pretty sure because it's collective. So, the smart and the not so smart, the smartest and the dumbest combined into this consciousness could be
That's
we
the
can't
thing.
do.
Yeah.
But of course, it might not be smarter than the smartest person on earth
So,
or the most original person on earth.
yes.
That it might not be able to unless it grows some sort of consciousness and is able to keep training itself to improve itself to be smarter. If it can actually grasp the concept of original thinking. What does being original? What does being strategic? What does being creative mean? Um, if it actually can crack that code by itself, then yes, it's possible.
There are roles that may be at risk
Mm,
of like being redundant because of AI. There are, okay.
mm,
And that happens like when telephones came in, like typical mails communication got slower, right? So of course, with AI, that's what I'm saying, right? So, because of this is a tool. AI is like just another tool. I mean, the use case is like enormous. We
mm,
expect a lot from AI, and we are hoping that it will like it will make our life very easy, but it also bringing in data privacy issues. Okay,
yeah.
and regulations are also being revised because of AI. I mean, today we are
Yeah.
talking about today's regulation and law of different regions,
Mm,
and addressing our AI policy based on today's rules.
yeah.
10 years later, those rules will change too, because
Yeah.
of like more and more data privacy and more data compromises and scams and things will come as well, right? Another example I saw, very funny. Another example, I wouldn't use the name, but a company got shut down. Um,
Mm.
the AI the AI
Oh yeah.
company
I
the
don't
AI
the
company got
AI
shut down.
company. Yeah.
Well, they're all humans
Yeah.
behind the scene writing code.
That was so funny. Yeah. It
So,
was what, 2016? Right? They were founded in 2016. And then when I read it, I was like, who in the right mind would think that they
see,
can do that in 2016?
Yeah, at
Who,
one time, like over $1.5 billion valued, the company shut down
yeah,
because like they're playing game with AI. So again,
yeah.
so we never know what's happening, and
Mm,
rules are evolving, humans are evolving, AI is growing fast. Of course, as you said, it will it it will impact the non-smart people, of course, and that's
you're
the
very politically correct.
and that's the transformation we are going through actually. So it is
Yeah.
like a stock market adjustment, right? It's a correction
Mm,
happening in human psychology and
yeah.
intelligence in the technology side of the world, right? So
Mm,
this correction will actually help us be resilient as well, right?
yeah.
So we want to learn AI. Everyone needs to learn AI, regardless of the role and level and in the org chart, right? We all need to be familiar with AI, like we are familiar with not just driving the cars, but if anything goes wrong, we know like, okay, what could be wrong in the car? Same way, like
Yeah.
in the AI, we should be able to understand like what's happening and how it's happening. Not all of us should be
For
able
sure.
to define the model. It is
Yeah.
not expected, but we should be able to learn AI to the point that we know what's happening behind the scene. Okay, so
Yeah.
at least we can expect the outcome with AI on the business as well as personal side, because it's our data and it includes personal data as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm I'm not worried about AI will replace uh, not from the professional side, but at least from the personal side, like replace our intelligence. It will
Mm,
take. It will. I. I mean, it may never happen. Robotics could be very smart. Yeah, but again, like if you have, for example, if you have 100 robots in a room and 100 humans in the room, um, you will never get expected result.
I guess the robots are supposed to be more predictable, which means that the humans potentially can outsmart them that way because humans tend to be a little bit unpredictable and cunning. I guess the cunningness maybe the AI doesn't doesn't learn that yet, how to be cunning and sly and the that part of it, the
Yeah.
shrewdness. I guess that's a uniquely human trait, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when I think about um, autonomous cars on the road, that's where I'm worried because it's a mix of
Mm,
humans and robots on the car. But in warehouses,
yeah.
where like inventory control is happening fully by robots, right?
Mm,
I also have heard like in China, there were a lot of factories. They are calling it dark factories. Okay.
mm,
I mean,
yeah.
they're not using any lights, but all robots are managing their production line, their inventory control.
Mm,
Everything is happening through robots. That's possible
mm,
because it's only robots there. Okay,
mm,
of course, it impacted a lot of humans in the market, but
yeah.
it doesn't imply that um, intelligence. It's a transformation, it's a correction, right? And those humans will still survive in their professions if they keep up. As we are talking, we need to understand AI. That's the new expectation. We
Mm,
need to learn that. We need to know how to use it. And there has been some talks going around like AI will replace humans, and we touched on that as well. It is now things are being cleared out more and more.
yep.
AI will never replace humans. AI will replace humans who doesn't know how to use AI,
Yeah. The
right?
roles. It
The
will
role.
replace their roles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where I think we were talking about customer experience. So it still needs to be blended with artificial and human intelligence to deal with customers, understand them, and then give them good experience. That human touch is necessary because customers, if customers are robots too, that's a different story.
That might be a possibility when you have agents shopping and doing things on your behalf. So then they will have to interact with the other
Yeah,
agents on your
and they're
behalf. So
and
then,
they are
yeah,
leveraging same data models too.
yeah,
And there are millions of data models. There are millions
yeah.
of data silos, right? So yeah, and so yeah, talking about silos, yeah, that's another thing, right? So
Mm,
uh, because of strict data policies of different regions, different geographical aspects, culture, psychology, um, like not the whole lot of data can go into one data center ever and will be
mm,
shared between all these models to understand everything because every model is learned independently,
mm,
right? So and unless or and until like all that data is shared as well between models, expecting that fully automated intelligent systems in place with AI could be a dream as well.
mm.
I mean, because OpenAI has their own data models, right?
Yeah.
And DeepSeek is training their models with a different set of data. Could be
Mm,
common in between somewhere, but like they have their own systems, right? Similarly, like all other AI models, like they are being learned independently. So what data is fed there makes the whole difference, and that's the differentiator,
mm. Of
right?
course, they for the enterprises, of course, it's better for them to just train on their own data, uh, for privacy and security reasons. Whereas of course for the
Yes.
consumers, you're just feeding data everywhere without any regard for, especially the some of the younger generation. Um, I don't think they are as conscious actually what they are revealing
Yeah.
of themselves by
Yeah.
using all of this so flippantly,
Yes.
and helping to train the models
Yeah.
indirectly or unconsciously.
AI can let you know the problem points in the customer experience. AI can give
Mm,
you very smart and fast data analysis driven reports, where to focus, how to prioritize, what technologies are helping on the good experience side, and what are causing issues on your customer journey path. AI can do that like very fast, very efficiently, better than humans, I would say, and
mm,
faster. But making sense of it and then putting your efforts at the right spot and improving on that customer experience, that's the hybrid thing. And the example you're referring to, like companies are not very comfortable sharing their data
mm,
outside to different models, so they are creating their own and defining and training their own models. Same thing like with cloud infrastructure that I was referring to like few minutes before,
mm,
right? Companies were not very comfortable sharing or sending their data outside their
mm,
premises, data centers,
mm,
right? On-prem data centers. So that is why, similarly, I'm also saying that models are internal and external, and even outside there are different models and different providers for AI technologies. So,
yeah,
and these are data silos in
yeah,
a way,
for sure.
right? So because of that, there will always be improvement areas in the AI as well.
Mm,
So how they all connect and still stay comply for data privacy and regulations and things like that.
mm,
So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how it evolves. But
mm.
I I would still keep human intelligence in the center for having good customer experience plan.
True, true.
Yeah.
But of
So
course, the company has to be customer centric in the first place. Because let's say if the company, the foundational culture is not that customer centric, then whatever data or info that they have actually would not be customer centric. in terms of the output and the responses. So even if they have a very good AI, training on that shitty
Right, right.
shitty foundational,
Yeah,
it would be bad. It will still be
yeah,
bad. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Even
the
if
people at the center of it is important.
true,
Yeah.
even if like majority of your tools on your tech stack are AI driven,
Mm,
you still have to uh, optimize your tech stack.
yeah.
Okay. You still have to dedupe your services, make it more efficient, orchestrate all of your services correctly, efficiently to bring the good ROI on that investment. And
Mm,
then, yeah, you need to optimize your data center to bring the good return on investment on there. And define your metrics, how to measure it right. Okay, and then metrics and that metrics should be a balance between outside in and inside out approach, because you have to be outcome focused. At the same time, you want to leverage strengths and if and efficiency of your staff and your technology stack. So train your staff right. So again,
yeah.
I'll conclude three areas to not three areas. I will conclude 5 areas to focus and 3 steps to follow on those.
Mm,
Leadership and strategy. Okay,
yeah.
leadership and strategy. So leadership who defines strategy, they have to be involved to implement those strategies along with the team, not just push into the staff and then expect different results. Okay, then based on, and second is data and analytics. Be data driven. Okay, you, make sure your data is not siloed. Your data center and data systems are talking to each other and giving a compound reports to your staff. Okay, and those reports and dashboards to be shared
Yeah.
between different teams so they have full visibility. Okay,
Mm,
and then be customer centric. Okay, whatever company is doing, keep your customer in the center.
mm,
Okay, and then optimize your tech stack and infrastructure. Okay, to achieve all that and to be staying high on the digital maturity, you have to be very efficient on your tech stack. You need to have a full visibility of your technology systems, how are
mm,
they leveraged, and keep upgrading them, keep uh, seeing the gaps in utilization of the services, and stop using services that you don't think giving you good value, and make sure those are aligned with your business strategy as well. And then lastly, I would say training and culture within your staff. So
mm,
these are the 5 pillars of the digital maturity model that is in my mind. Okay. And then how to get there is again like optimize your tech stack, measure it right, and enable your staff to use
mm,
that stack. Right. So that's my summary for the digital maturity. None of these can be ignored.
mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a similar foundational, which is always what I practice as part of my metabolic marketing consulting principles around people,
Mm,
process, and platform. Why we need to get to address those, make sure that you have the right people, meaning that not just replacing the people, but like what you said, cultivating the right mindset, training, enabling them with the right training, the right knowledge, the right tools, and then making sure that they are mentally ready as well, because I do worry about the mental health of people,
that's a
especially
good
now
one.
with AI. I foresee a lot of people getting mentally unwell because of fear and stress. caused by AI.
Stress.
Yeah. Then making sure
I
that you
hear
take your
that.
people along
Yeah,
the
that's true.
journey. Yeah. Yeah. And then the process, because you cannot just stuff a bunch of tools without enabling them with the right process. So make sure that you work together with your people to articulate and map out the right process that is supportive of whatever you want to implement. And then look at the platforms and what you're trying to solve before you decide on the platforms that you should be on and you should be retiring, like you said, right? You
Correct.
don't want to have the latest shiny tool just because your competitor is having it. It depends on the problem that you need to you need to fix.
I can
So
relate that.
it's not a
Yeah.
competition for who has the biggest car or the fastest car.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I see that. I see it like when you are looking at your competitors and see what they are doing and you try to do the same, then you are not going to lead them. You're always behind them. You're following them. You
Yeah.
have to think beyond what your competitors are thinking.
Mm,
You that's what takes you ahead in the game.
yeah. Your
Sure.
people. Your
People.
people will help you to stay ahead. So I think the leadership, like you said, is really important. Having the right
Mm.
leadership. They have to be accountable, just as accountable as the people in
Yes,
their team for what happens moving forward, having the right vision, the mindset, as well as the
exactly.
customer-centric mindset as well to build that culture of the company.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you so much. Lot of insights, lot of good and great points discussed. I really appreciate your time, and I'm already little upset that it's a wrap for the Digital Maturity Blueprint series. But yeah, we'll come back with some other topic later on.
Sure. It's been
All right.
fun. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you, Jazz.